what's going on, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of On the Couch with Trap, man. Today, this episode, we're gonna be talking about the process of my first shoe drop. Yeah, man, it was a crazy experience, crazy learning experience. So, this particular episode, I just want to take some time out to share with y'all that first experience. So I wanted to create my own shoe for a while, right? It's been about maybe 2 years or so since I first was in the talks about doing my own shoe, and I really couldn't figure out in the beginning what what I was gonna do for like the logo. That was pretty much the hardest part for me, was trying to figure out what I was gonna use for the actual shoe logo. So when I first had the idea a few years back, when I was talking to a friend of mine, we talked about doing shoes or whatever, and I just really couldn't figure out what I wanted to do with the logo. So that was kind of holding me up for a while, and I pretty much just like pushed the idea to the side for a while because it was like I just couldn't. I ain't know I was going. I had wanted to do like dragon or this or play with the words J and the T and just a bunch of different stuff I was going through, and I really just couldn't find one that just stuck with me and I wanted to roll with. So I just pushed the idea to the side, and it was just like a dormant idea for a while. Fast forward 2 years later, two some at least 2 years later, to back in maybe October or so. Um, my boy Stay Fresh came to me and had asked me like, "Yo, you still was trying to release them shoes? Woo woo." He was saying like he was gonna release a shoe, and you know what I'm saying, and he was just like asking me, was I still trying to do it? I'm like, shit, yeah, shit, I do want to do it, but I still ain't really got the logo thing yet. You know what I'm saying? He was like, yo, I got a couple ideas he was gonna use for his logo. He was like, you remember these people, woo woo, um, they could design it for me and for us or whatever. And I was just like, shit, let's do it then. All right, let's put it back in the atmosphere. So once he kind of like turned the switch on again. He kind of like turned it on again, like brought the idea back to my forefront again. So when he turned the switch on, from there it was just like, let me figure this out. Yeah, I went to the designer with a couple ideas, and pretty much I still didn't know the logo, but I knew the style was gonna be like a dunk style shoe, dunk silhouette. And I tried to get the designer to like come up with me a logo. So we went back to working on something with the letters J and the T, and that really wasn't catching for me. So I had just thought like, man, let's use a wave. And then from there, the designer just really came up with this wave design that we end up using right there. So let me just stop at that point. So the first, when you're thinking about creating your shoe, the first, if you're not a designer like me, I'm not a designer. I'm definitely not a shoe designer. So uh, when you first like trying to create that shoe, you're gonna need somebody that can design you the tech pack, that can design you the shoe tech pack. So therefore, you can have that information to send over to China when it's time to do the manufacturing. Because without that first tech pack, you're really not gonna have what the Chinese people want you to have, and it's gonna make it harder to communicate your ideas to the manufacturers. You know what I'm saying? So first and foremost, you're gonna need that designer. I can even tell you on this live who I use for a designer. I use PLS Designs. Um, that's who I use. So that's free game right there. They charge me, I think, $350, but don't quote me on no prices because I don't work for them, and whatever they do is on them. They charge me $350 for the first tech pack with two designs and the 3D mock-ups and all of that stuff. So that kick started it. Now we got the design. I know what I'm doing as far as design wise. I know the colorway I'm dropping first. all of that stuff. Next, it was like find a manufacturer. So with the package that I had bought from the people, the package I bought from the designers was supposed to come with like a sample shoe too. So it's basically for $350. I was supposed to be getting I was supposed to be getting the shoe tech pack. I was supposed to be getting the 3D renderings. And I was supposed to be getting a sample and the manufacturer. They were supposed to tell me a manufacturer who did the sample. So that's what I'm thinking. Like, yo, that's a great deal. Let's do it. But even after I sent off for that, in my mind, I'm like, they gonna give me a manufacturer, but let me still do my own research and find some more manufacturers too. So what I did was I started looking for more manufacturers. I went on Alibaba and I started looking for more shoe manufacturers. There's a lot of them up there. So to be able to find who you're gonna use, the first things you need to look for is how many years they've been in business. And you need to look for to see if they're a verified vendor. If they're not a verified vendor and they haven't been in business for a while, I don't suggest doing business with them when it comes to the shoes. So what I did was I spent hundreds of dollars, maybe like a couple thousand, just buying samples from this person, this person, this person. I bought like 4 or 5 samples. And all the samples was like $280 or $290 or $275, stuff like that. The purpose of buying the samples was for me to compare the quality, time, the quality, the communication of the different manufacturers to figure out who I wanted to work with, because I'm the type of person that when I'm dealing with overseas manufacturers, I like to be able to communicate thoroughly with them, and I like to be able to understand who's making my product and making sure that they're putting the proper quality control in place. So that was another thing that was like a learning experience, just doing the samples, just going through and like getting bogus samples. I got a pair of shoes that was like soft bottoms. They were like you could squeeze the bottom of them, you could squeeze the side. It's just like they weren't what you would wanna pay for. You know what I'm saying? So had I would have not done a sample and I would have got 50 pair like that, I would have been super upset. So it's extremely important for the sampling process. You know what I'm saying? Because they'll let you just make the order without no sample. So after that, the sampling process was started. I had 4 or 5 samples out. Now, mind you, the people was one sample. The original designer, they were supposed to be getting me a sample, and then I had like 3 other samples. I had like 3 other samples that made a total of 4 samples that I had out. You know, and each one of them was close to $300 a piece. So you're talking about like 1,200 some dollars in sampling, and it was a waiting game from then on. You know, I was just waiting, like just waiting, just trying to figure out who I was gonna go with. That was pretty much like I think that was around. I want to say that was around October when I started that sampling process. It was, matter of fact, it might have been before October. It was sometime. I think I started like in the beginning of October or whatever, and the samplers didn't start rolling in until close to November, some because it's like a 30 some day process. So what I did was I I had the samples in process, and the once the Sub Zero, that was something I skipped. I did 2 versions of the Sub Zero too. So I did the patent leather version sample, and I did a sample of the regular leather version. Then I did a sample of a different colorway. So I had like uh, 2 patent leather samples out there, 1 regular leather Sub Zero sample, and I had a regular leather Windy City sample. Those were the samples that I had out there. So fast forward to when the sample was done, but I didn't have it in hand yet. The sample was done like 30 days later. So I had started planning that I was gonna start um, the pre-orders around my birthday. You know what I'm saying? Like around November the 1st was supposed to be the pre-order. So the samples had to be done probably like a week before that or so. Maybe like coming up to that week. So what I did was I had the manufacturers take pictures of it. So I didn't have a physical shoe in my hand. I didn't even know how quality was or who had the best quality. But in my mind at the time, I'm just trying to I'm just trying to put the product out. You know what I'm saying? In my mind at that time, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to put the sample out there. So I'm telling people like, yeah, pre-orders gonna start. Pre-orders gonna start on November the 1st. We're gonna start the pre-order. Now, in hindsight, looking back, it was a bunch of things that I would have done differently had I known what I learned over the time. But I didn't know this was my first shoe release. This was my first time doing this. So I'm just doing whatever I felt was the best thing to do at the time. So I was telling people, yeah, the pre-orders is gonna be starting November the 1st, and they're gonna end November the 8th. So I'm like, because in my mind, I know that it's gonna take 30 days or more for them to produce it. And I wanted my first drop to be in people's hand by Christmas, which Christmas right now as we recording this episode, Christmas is in 2 days and drop is in hand. So that was my thing. I wanted the first drop to be in hand to all my customers under their Christmas tree before Christmas. So I knew I could only leave the pre-order up for a certain amount of time. So what I did was take the pictures of the Sub-Zero basic Sub-Zero and the patent leather Sub-Zero, and I put them up, and I put a poll up, and I asked the people, hey, which version of this shoe do y'all think we should drop? Which version of this shoe is the hottest? You know what I'm saying? And people were telling me like, drop the Sub-Zero patent leather. People were telling me drop the Sub-Zero plain. It was like mixed feelings. People like both of them. So at that point, I'm like, I had to make an executive decision, and I just like the patent leather better. So I'm like, I'm dropping the patent leather. That's what's gonna be the drop. It's final. Patent leather Sub-Zero pre-order start November 1st. Mind you, I'm not really a pre-order brand, so I don't do a lot of pre-orders. Most of my stuff is on hand, ready to ship, or would at least ship within the next week if I had to make it right there, whatever. But I don't really do too much pre-order where you gotta wait a month or whatever, whatever. So I was I was doing my research, trying to figure out, studying the pre-order methods, trying to figure out what was the best way to do pre-orders. So if you're doing pre-orders and you running with Shopify, they got apps that you can use. They got one app called PreOrder Now or something like that. I think it's called. And they have another app called Advanced Pre-Order app or something. I can't remember the exact names, but I'll get them when I edit the video up, and I'll drop them in the video so y'all could. Or I'll drop them in the comments in the description so y'all can go back and find those Shopify apps. But like I say, if you was to just Google Shopify pre-order apps, you can find apps that do handle the pre-order. So I wanted to get people to pre-order, but I didn't want to like I said, I'm not a pre-order brand, so I didn't want to like scare people off and none of that stuff. So I was trying to find a app that would let you do a partial pre-order payment, so you wouldn't have to pay the full amount before you got your merch, like before the merch was in. You know what I'm saying? So it was a app, Advanced Pre-Order Now, I think it was called, and they had the partial pre-order feature. So that allowed you to be able to pay a deposit or whatever you set, and then when the merchandise comes in, you can actually email the customers, and you can actually collect the rest of the money. In hindsight, looking back, I wouldn't have done it that way. I would have done a pre-order for the full amount. Because if I'm gonna do a pre-order, just pay me the full amount if you're gonna pre-order. That's how I would have done. It would have caused less confusion. But again, that's in hindsight, looking back after I already experienced it and learned. I didn't know this until I went through it. So I had to go through it to grow through it. So yeah, I did the pre-order with partial payments. Dropped the pre-order on the 1st of November. It went up because the promotion, I had a good rollout for the Sub-Zeros too. I've been talking about them for like a good 2 months, all through the process of why the the sample was being made. I was dropping little short videos, any videos I can get the manufacturer to send me of the process. I was dropping them just to tease and just to get the people behind the scenes looks. So by the time the pre-order came out, people was geeked and people was hyped and they was ready. So that first day, that first morning when it dropped at 8 a.m., I really dropped it at midnight, but it was a secret drop, so only a few people got it at midnight. But at like 8 a.m., we had like 20 or some orders that first day. You know what I'm saying? So, and I know that's not a lot. Of course, 20 some orders is not a lot. But for me, that was my first shoe. That was my first time dealing in the shoe business. So to get the 20 pre-orders like right at between the hours of 8 and 9, that was like, it felt good. That was cool for me. And as the days went on, my birthday was November the 4th. So I was like trying to promote people to cop on my birthday. You know what I'm saying? That happened. So as the days went on, we ended up pre-ordering about like 40 pair or whatever. So time came to close the pre-order. Close the pre-order. I had collected everybody's deposit money up front. Um, and I had sent off for the shoes to be made. Now, the biggest thing to me that was like the biggest heartache, right, was the timing. You know, the timing, the timing, the time that I got into the shoe business toward the end of the year, it kind of made me have to do a little rush things that now looking back in hindsight, I wouldn't have done. Like I had, like I said, I had three colorways lined up, right? I had the Sub-Zero colorway, I had the Windy City colorway, and I had a Valentine's Day colorway. Now in hindsight, looking back, I wouldn't have never dropped the second two colorways until next year had I known what I know now. Looking back at it, I would have put all my efforts, I would have kept the pre-order for the Sub-Zero open to maybe like the 10th of November, but I would have put all my efforts into getting the Sub-Zero, selling 100 pair of Sub-Zeros. That's what I would have done. And I feel like we would have hit 100 pair if I would have done like I'm saying, which was put all my efforts into that. But what I did was I put the Sub-Zero pre-order out, and after the Sub-Zero pre-order closed, a week later, I pre-ordered the Windy City. So like the second week in November, because in my mind at that time, in my mind, I'm trying to get all of these colorways out before the year ends, which really wasn't that smart. You know what I'm saying? I could have saved those colorways. So then I'm thinking like the Chinese New Year coming. They telling me, yo, the Chinese New Year is gonna be January, woo woo. So I got this Valentine's Day color that I want to release. And if I don't put the pre-order out in place of, or like, cause I want to put the pre-order out just to see like if grade school or any kid size was gonna come through, because I'm not really stocking kid sizes, so I got a pre-order in order for me to get those kid sizes up there. So I end up, after the Windy City stayed up for a week, I end up doing a pre-order for the Valentine's Day, and this is all in my mind, a plan to be able to drop the subs by Christmas, drop the Windy Cities by January, and drop the Valentine's by February 14th. So I'm working on three shoes all at one time, which is crazy, messing with my brain. All bunch of stuff, a bunch of money invested, all of that. So, like I said, in hindsight, looking back, that may have not been the smartest thing for me to do. I should have put all my efforts into the Sub-Zeros and then release. I would have had to skip Valentine's Day this year, but um, well, I could even work on a Valentine's Day shoe, but I would have to just take my chances and buy the inventory, do no pre-order, none of that, and just wait it out to Valentine's and then drop it on Valentine's. Because if you don't know, the Chinese Lunar New Year is like from the middle of January to the middle of February, and there's no work being done. Everything is on pause. There's they vacation. They're not doing the work. So if you got work over there, it's gonna be stuck until it's over. So now, with that being said, let's get back to the pre-order the Sub Zeros. So the Sub Zero pre-order is there and it's in motion. It's being processed. It's being made. You know what my only fear was? My only thing that was like eating away at me because this pre-order stuff. Like the video, comment below, hit the subscribe button, share the video, man. I'm gonna tell y'all what my biggest fear was while waiting. My biggest fear while waiting for the pre-order to be, I mean, for the production to be made was that the shoe wasn't gonna be ready in time. Like I didn't took these people money, right? And I didn't told them that it take 30, 40 days production, woo, woo, woo. But at the same time, I'm still promoting that this, because I'm counting on the Chinese people to be 30 to 40 days for real. I'm not counting on no mistakes, no nothing. I'm telling my people, y'all gonna have these shoes for Christmas. Y'all gonna have these for the holiday. Y'all gonna have these. You know what I'm saying? So that was my biggest fear, was like lying to my people, lying to my customers, not having it. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, share the video. If you ain't no liar, if you don't like to lie to your customers, if you don't like to mislead your people, share the video. You know what I'm saying? But so whole time I'm playing it cool because I'm good at my poker face, good. But I really don't know if this shit gonna go through. So I'm like steady asking questions, you know what I'm saying? And at the same time, I still, like I said, while I'm worried about that, I didn't put out two more pre-orders. So now people kind of looking like, damn, he ain't even got the first shoe out here. He got two more pre-orders. But I ain't worried about what people thinking. I'm like thinking in my mind, what I'm thinking is right. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna do what I gonna do. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, they out there. We waiting. We waiting. We waiting. We still promoting. We still telling them this gonna be this. I got the sample in now. Boom. So now the actual sample coming is in my size. Now I'm promoting a real physical sample now. So now I'm showing them, ooh, I'm taking video. I'm doing all this. The drop coming. It's coming for Christmas. That was a nerve wracking time, man. Um, that was really a nerve wracking time. Just trying to hold all that together. You know what I'm saying? Not really knowing for sure what it was. You feel me? But long story short, the weeks pass, it gets about 30 days. They telling me like, yeah, man, it's time to pay the balance. Everything finna get shipped out. I'm cool. It's about like what, last week or something. It's like last week. Yeah, this like what day the shoes came in? 17th or something like that. Or it was around that time. First box of shoes come in. Well, first they send me the tracking and everything. They sending out 4 boxes. 3 together, 1 separate. So in my mind, one of them's gonna come a day later than the other ones. Yeah, one of them's gonna come a day later than the other ones. So they ship it all out. I'm tracking the orders. Next thing you know, like two boxes show up. 2 boxes get here. The box with the actual shoe boxes and 1 box of shoes. they get here. And that's like on like December 18th or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Something around that time. So now I'm really nervous because we got a lot of work to do. We got to string up the shoes. We got to put the boxes together, and we got to ship them off all before Christmas. And that's another thing too. I wanted to have a certain type of laces in my shoes. I wanted to have the SB fat laces, the 9mm laces. So I end up having to buy laces and get those sent over from China also. And then we had to like lace every shoe. So when that first box came, we got to work. Now, mind you, I'm making content. I'm putting pictures out. I'm showing it. I got all the shoe boxes. I got the 50 shoe boxes stacked up. They already made and everything. We put them together. They made. Basically, to the people, it's looking like all 50 shoes are here and ready to go. So everybody thinking like, yo, they shoes here. They shit ready for the ship. Woo woo. Only a few, only maybe 20 of those shoes was actually here at that time. But we had all the boxes. So in my mind, I'm nervous again. Damn, where the rest of the stuff at? But I'm still fronting my move. I'm still playing my poker face. I'm still showing all the boxes, still telling people, making the content. We stringing up shoes. We doing all this. And y'all gonna see when I drop that vlog and that road to the first shoe release vlog. Y'all gonna see behind the scenes we were stringing up the shoes, cleaning them, doing all the inspections. Making sure everything right with the shoe. Um, I was nervous as hell, y'all. I ain't gonna lie. And it wasn't that I didn't think the stuff was coming. I just didn't think it was coming on time. And once it got delayed, like it, I look on the thing, it's like these two boxes here, the other one's delayed. One of them delayed to the point where it's not even showing where it said. It's just stuck in Memphis for like 3 days or something like that. Well, first it was in customs, then it got to Memphis. It was in Memphis for like 2 days. It was crazy. I'm like, yo, still fronting my move online, still saying drop ready, we finna ship out. Y'all gonna have y'all shoes by Christmas. Now, if this ain't work out, but I don't know what I'd have did. Are you talking about walking on faith, boy? Walking on water? That's what I was doing, man. Just like, man, this shit gonna come. So then the next day, a box come up, another box turn up. So now we got more shoes. We got most of the shoes now, except for like the big size, like the 12s and the 13s or whatever. But we didn't have the dust bags either. So now I'm like, well, man, it's like at this point, it's like crunch time now. It's because it's like over the next day or so, we have to ship these shoes out, especially the stuff that's going to like the West Coast and all these different places. It's not all local orders. So the stuff that's going to these different places, I'm like, man, I gotta get this shit shipped out to make sure that it it lands on time. Right? So I gotta get it out. So like I got everybody's shoes except for the 12s and the 13s, which I had a lot of 13 orders, so that was a disaster anyway. But I didn't have a dust bag, so now I'm like, man, I'm going to ship it out without the dust bags. I don't want to ship it out without the dust bags. The dust bags are like part of the packaging. All of that was going through my mind, but again, we still day two, stringing shoes up, making content, talking about the drop. Everything's like it's all perfect. Back in my mind, I'm nervous as hell. I don't know if the other box, because the other box is just like not saying nothing. It just ain't saying nothing. It's just like the last thing it was saying was Memphis, and that was it. All night I kept tracking to see if it updated. It ain't update. The next day, I think the next day or either the day after that, the box showed up. When that box showed up, it was like such a sigh of relief because I was like, every shoe is here. So at this point in time, I'm just like, let's get these joints out. So me and Crystal just got to working hard. We got to cleaning off all the rest of the shoes. We got the package and everything. We got to putting all the stickers and the Christmas cards in all the boxes and just putting everything together, packaging them up to ship them out. So that's what we did. We got it all together. We shipped it out. and we got them out in time, and the heartache was over. Hit that like button. All the work, all the effort, all the pressure, all the front of my move, it all paid out because we delivered. We made the content and we delivered on time. So everyone who pre-ordered the shoe, everyone who wanted this shoe, got it under their Christmas tree right now as we speak. And that is a blessing because I will be the first to tell y'all honestly, I ain't know if it was gonna make it. I wasn't 100% sure that we were gonna be able to make it. It's all a learning experience though. Everything is like sometimes, man, when you in this business, when you in business like this, man, when you're doing this type of stuff, man, it's about like how you react under pressure. Can you handle the pressure? Will you fold under pressure? Can you figure it out? Can you maneuver? Can you swerve? You know how to call audible plays. All of that stuff play a purpose and a position in a business. You know what I'm saying? So it was no way that I could just sit there and put out that I'm worried and all of this worrisome stuff because then you lose all your people that believe in you. You know what I'm saying? So it was like we gonna make it. We gonna front the move, and is everything gonna happen? Everything gonna work out, and it did. And I thank God that it did because the Sub-Zero shoe is released and it's out to the people. But that was just like the process of me releasing the shoe. That was everything that I was going through. That was the steps that I took, and that was the state of mind that I was in. Now, in hindsight, looking back, I learned a lot of things over the last 2 months of doing that. I learned a lot of things about shoes, about uh, how I should have released them, about what I did wrong, as far as releasing too many at one time for pre-orders. All of that stuff I learned. But one big thing that happened that I want to touch on in this video, um, which is gonna give y'all who coming into the shoe game and who want to come into the shoe game some info and some free game about what's going on. So as you all know, during this time that I'm talking about that I was releasing my first shoe, Nike started hitting people with lawsuits, right? They started hitting some of the biggest shoe guys that make their own versions of Nike shoes with lawsuits. They hit Cool Kai, they hit Omni with a Hellcat in the same day or whatever. You know what I'm saying? With lawsuits about the trade dress, the trademark, the Nike trade dress. For those that don't know what a trade dress is, we're gonna talk about that right now. We're gonna talk about what is a violation of a trade dress. Hit that like button, subscribe, share the video. So as you can see this shoe, this silhouette is of a SB Nike Dunk. It's the same shape pattern, same, it's my own colorway. It's not a colorway, not a pattern of the colorway that the Nike Dunk has, but it's the silhouette of a Nike Dunk. Technically, you can be sued for trademark infringement because silhouette is the same as a Nike Dunk. I mean, I knew that you can be sued for trademark infringement before I made this shoe, but everybody's been doing it. Cool Kai has made millions of dollars from doing it, and they never got sued. So I wasn't really thinking about getting sued or nothing like that. I wasn't worried about it when I was designing the first shoe. But in the midst of me designing the first shoe, they get hit with lawsuits. So what I did was be proactive instead of reactive. Once they start getting hit with lawsuits, I started studying more and understanding more and listening to what was going on and understanding the trademark dress and how to not violate the trademark dress. Once I figured out what I needed to do to not violate the trademark dress, these shoes already made. my first 3 releases are already made already. They violate the trademark dress. But one thing for sure, 2 things for certain, Nike's not worried about the little guy who only sold 50 pair of shoes. I gotta make some more revenue before they waste time, because what y'all people gotta realize is lawsuits cost money. So to take somebody to court, like people be like, yo, if he use my brand, I'ma sue him. No, you're not unless you got some money. You ain't got no money, you still struggling using the heat press and working out the bedroom, you ain't suing nobody. So relax, okay? Because it costs money to sue. And it's gonna cost you more money than you got if you ain't got none. So Nike is not worried about a little guy, because it costs them too much money to sue the little man who ain't even making no money for them to get back. You feel me? So while I'm still a little guy, I said, hey, let me see what's going on. Let me see what these guys did wrong. Let me see what I got to do right to be on the other side of that. Because you can have a shoe inspired by, there's a lot of shoes that look similar to each other, but they have certain differences that make them not a violation of the trademark. And that's what you got to have. So I had to learn what it was. And I'm going to break it down to y'all so y'all can learn from this video, so y'all can know what it is. This shoe is a carbon copy of a Nike SB silhouette. The lines, the symmetry, the shapes, they all the same. It's just a different logo. This logo looks to the eye similar to a Nike check, but it's in a different shape than Nike check. It's a different logo. It's a wave, obviously, and it's wavy. You know what I'm saying? Nike check is straight, but forget the logo. When you have a blank sketch, black and white, no logo, just the body silhouette of a shoe, if your shapes, your lines look like just like every line, all these lines, they all look like the same lines on a Nike Dunk. So I put you a Nike Dunk right here, and I put this right here. You're gonna see that these shoes have identical lines. So in order to not violate Nike's trademark dress or any other shoe that you might, New Balance, whoever you might be looking at, you need to have a blank canvas of the shoe, and it needs to look different. Not just the logo different. The blank canvas needs to look different than the shoe that you inspired by. So what did I do? While this was going on, I knew my shoes was in progress, but I said, hey, I went to the manufacturer. I said, yo, we got to change some stuff, man. I know I can't change the ones that's already in progress, but going forward for 2023, we got to change some stuff. He gave me some pointers. He told me what I can do. Woo, woo, woo. I went and did my research. I went and found ways I can change my shoe. So what y'all gonna notice on my 2023 releases, everything after my February 14th shoe will be under the new silhouette. It will be not in violation of the Nike trade dress. We changed shapes on the front panel. We changed shapes on the side panels. We changed shapes on the shoestring panels. We changed shapes on the back and side back panels. We engraved on the outsole. So we did over 5 points of change when I think you need, if I'm not mistaken, correct me in the comments if you know about this subject. I think you need at least 4 points of change in order to not be in violation. I believe we did 5. And we also are going to change the sole as well. But let me talk to y'all about soles in a second, into why changing the sole is very expensive. So you want to make sure that you actually going to be in the shoe game before you start really going crazy with soles. But we did make 4 to 5 points of change within the side silhouette of the shoe. It's still gonna be shaped like a SB Dunk, shape wise, because it's still inspired by SB Dunk, but it will be different. And as I get my feet wet in the shoes, I plan to come out with my own silhouette as well. But I don't recommend coming out with your own silhouette right off the bat. I mean, you can. I'm not saying don't do it, but I'm just saying familiarity is a big selling point. Familiarity. So if you just come out with some random silhouette and it just don't look familiar to the eyes, and it just not eye catching, you might have a hard time selling all that inventory. And believe me, when you come out with your own silhouette, you're gonna have to come out with your own soul, and you're gonna spend upwards of 800 to 10,000 worth. You listen to me, $800 on the low end, up to $10,000 on customized souls, depending on what you got to do. If you don't know the process of customizing souls, go on YouTube and type in the process of making a shoe sole. You have to get a sole mold, and you have to get a sole mold for every size. Listen to me. You have to get a sole mold for every size that you want. So if you want a size 4, 4.5, 5, 5.5, all the way up to 13, 14, you're gonna spend 800 to 10,000 per size. So even if it's 800 per size, and you got 20 molds you need, you do the math. 800 times 20, you do the math. Leave the answer in the comments. That's how much you're gonna spend on soles, and that's on the cheap side. So imagine you got a sole that's 5,000. So that's why you see sometimes some brands don't have half of sizes, because when you're starting off with your own sole, we just making 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're not doing no half, so you just got to go up and down. It is what it is. But yeah, nah, the sole is definitely a kicker. So you got to be ready. So in my mind, I wanted to go with a shoe that has some familiarity to get my feet wet. And like I said, I seen people making millions off this, and I hadn't seen nothing happening to them, so I ain't think none of it. But now I know better, so I'm gonna do better. So I got my changes made. Do you got your changes made? Mine I made. So when you see my releases for 2023, you're gonna notice the changes that we made on the side of the shoe, on the panels of the shoe, in order to avoid trademark infringement. Because I don't want to be the next nigga to be sued, but just on playing devil's advocate on that side, if you do get sued by Nike, first they're gonna have to send you a cease and desist letter, and that means stop doing what you're doing right now before we sue your ass. By the time they send you a cease and desist letter, you already should have made a lot of money. You already should have made enough money to be able to do your own thing. You know what I'm saying? So if you're not thinking, especially after what's happening with Nike lawsuits and stuff right now, if you're not thinking about how you gonna do your own thing when you get big, then you're not thinking further enough ahead, man. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm definitely gonna do my own thing when I get big. You know what I'm saying? I'm already changing up my patterns so they look different and they just inspired by and not a copy already. But in the future, as I get my foot wet in this shoe business and I get my sneaker community and my culture together that rides with the trap low wave, with the Justtrap sneakers, I'm gonna release my runners. I'm gonna release a bunch of other stuff that I got in mind, and they gonna all be my own silhouettes and my own ideas. So I don't have plans on only using a silhouette inspired by Nike. I have plans on expanding this, but this is what my starting point is, man. If you know, you know. If you don't like it, or if you don't support it, um, don't support it. But it is what it is, man. So with that being said, just to recap on the trademark thing, in order, if you're thinking about making your own shoe, especially with what's going on right now, you should already start off with your own differences. You know what I'm saying? So when you get your tech pack made, you can be inspired by this silhouette, or the Dunk silhouette, or the Jordan 1 silhouette, whatever it is you're inspired by, but have your designer change the shapes of these. Just changing shapes, the way the lines, the symmetry, that's what gets you past the trademark. You can't have the same line work. You can't have the same shapes. It has to be different. Keep that in mind. Hit that like button, subscribe, share the video, turn your notifications on, man. It's on the couch with Trap. You feel me? But yeah, that's really pretty much what you need to know. And let's touch a little bit more about the soles, just to recap on the soles. Like I said, when you want to get custom soles made, because when my designer made mine, he made a custom sole and everything. But I don't have a custom sole because custom soles for what I had was $850 per size. I'm not ready to spend $850 per size. I'm still getting my feet wet. I'm still trying to uh, see if the shoe game is where I want to be and it's for me. So in the meantime, we're not going to change the soles yet, but we are going to have 4 to 5 points of change on the body of the shoe to make us different. So make sure y'all stay tuned. Make sure y'all support the Trap Lows. Make sure y'all get y'all a pair at justtrapbrand.com. The process of shipping the shoes out. Let's talk about that before we end this live. And I know I've been kind of moving around the whole process of this thing, but this is all a freestyle. This is not this whole show. The point of the show is not to sit around and rehearse nothing. This is all organic. This is all free game. This is all off the top, man. This is all natural. This is not rehearsed or planned. So sometimes I might be over here and I might get over here. So just bear with me, but hit that like button. But the process, right? The pre-order thing. As a recap, let's just go back to the process of shipping and the pre-order method. Like I told y'all before, I did the pre-orders with a down payment. In hindsight, looking back, I won't do that again. My future pre-orders will be paid in full because collecting the money on the back end was challenging. Even though the system sends out an email to you saying, hey, make your payment, people will say, I ain't getting the email. The system ain't doing it. It ain't working. Some people ain't had the money right away. When you pay for something a month in advance, you got to remember that, oh, I still got to pay $100 more next month. So now it's close to Christmas. Now I'm texting you, telling you owe money on your shoes. Niggas trying to get their Christmas presents out the way. They ain't thinking about it. You know what I'm saying? So that's a reason too. Like, nah, let's just pay for it and get it out the way. But yeah, just dealing with that app, trying to collect on the back end was kind of complicated. So I don't think I would do that anymore. What else I wouldn't do anymore? I wouldn't release so many shoes for pre-order within a short period of time. And other than that, that's all I would do different. And I would make the points of change on my shoe so I'm not in violation, which I've done. So for the future, going into 2023, my new releases, I'm only releasing a certain amount of shoes for the whole year. They will be separated within a month, 2 months before the next release. So everything will have a proper promotion time. Everything will have a proper pre-order time. Everything will have all the proper timing will be spent on each release. When I do drop the pre-order, it will be a paid in full pre-order, so we won't be collecting any more money on the back end. And all of the shoes will be not in violation of the trademark. And I feel like doing those things, we should have a successful year next year with our Trap Low sneaker. Look forward to the new colorways coming out. Look forward to the new creativity that we bring in. Cause like y'all know, just to let y'all get into this for those who might be seeing this video, but they never got the Trap Lows. They are the Sub Zeros. This is the Sub Zero box. See the Sub Zero box? It has the graphic that's from the box is the same graphic that we have on the t-shirts and the hoodies that match the shoes. We also have that graphic inside the shoe as well. Crystal, we also have it inside the shoe. What's going on, bro? That graphic is inside the shoe also. And we got the fat laces in the shoe. This is the patent leather sub. So we got the Sub-Zero etched in on the side of the shoe, and we got Justtrap on the opposite shoe. We have Justtrap on the bottom. The box size tab. It has our quote on it, designed for those who came from nothing. Justtrap on the other side. Everybody who got these, they got Christmas card with it. They got the thank you card. They got the stickers, which other stickers didn't come in time. The stickers that I had for the shoes, because I had some stickers made, like pictures of the shoes. I had the stickers made to actually go with this too, and I'm kind of mad they didn't come in time, so everybody didn't receive their stickers with the shoe. But as you open up the pack, you got the dust bag with the Justtrap on it, like a velvet dust bag. You know, it's just this is what was missing. I couldn't give it out to them without the dust bag. You know what I'm saying? We got 3 laces. You know what I'm saying? So we put the package together for them real nice. You know what I'm saying? Real nice. Real nice package, man. Make sure y'all hit that like button, subscribe, click that notification bell. Right there. But yeah, that's the video, man. That's just a recap on how we dropped our first shoe, the process of dropping our first shoe, um, all of that, man. You know, it was definitely a learning experience. It was definitely a process, and you know, I learned a lot, and we're gonna be implementing everything, all the strategies that I learned, man, over the next releases. We're gonna be implementing. We're gonna be implementing all of this stuff. And if you you know, got any comments, you got your own shoe brand, you got your own brand, comment, leave a comment, man. Drop some game, drop some knowledge, man. If you got any questions, man, drop some questions, man. We're gonna answer them in the comments. Make sure y'all hit that like button, subscribe, that notification bell. It's another episode of On the Couch with Trap, man. I'm gonna see y'all next week, man. All right.